Hi, Jim McCotter here again with Christian Nations Today. We're again looking at what the Bible says, God's law, for the civil law. In fact, did you realize the majority of the Bible covers God's civil law more than it does the church or more than it does family? Those are the three institutions that God ordained: family, church, and actually the state. We're not going into that right now, only to say that God has the state that He is to be under Him, just like the churches should be under Him. It says in Colossians, He is head of all authority. It says in the Great Commission, Jesus was given all authority in heaven and in earth. And so God has the Mosaic law, which Israel was to follow, and which other nations were to follow. Many don't realize that it wasn't given just for Israel. All the nations have been and will be judged according to God's law. Today we have so much crime, so many killings. There's one verse that's very interesting that would eliminate dramatically the killings and the murders in our country. And that verse is in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. This was a civil law that God is referring to here. He says, when a sentence against a crime is not executed swiftly, it causes the hearts of men to harden. And this leads to even more crime and more evil. Another place in Ecclesiastes 5, verse 8 says, don't be surprised if you see people oppressed by the powerful and if justice is being miscarried through the land. For one official is over another official, and there are higher officials over them, and matters of justice get lost in red tape and bureaucracy. This is the New Life Bible I'm reading from. In other words, there's just a mountain of bureaucracy, and you have appeals upon appeals upon appeals. In the Bible, it says with murder, if there's 2 or more witnesses, that is enough to put someone to death. And there need be no more justice than that. And if somebody testifies to murder and it's not valid, the Bible law says then that person should be put to death because of the consequences of their false witness. If we had Bible law, biblical law, God's law, we would eliminate dramatically the crime wave and the murder in this country. In Chicago alone, just this year, there's been hundreds of crimes, and in fact, since Obama's been in office, there's been over 3,400 murders in Chicago alone. That's like a war zone, and justice is so delayed. If we have justice delayed, in some ways, is not justice at all. Slow justice increases crime. Ecclesiastes 8:11. I'll see you tomorrow.